Okay, good deal. Really kind going back to having had a chance to watch the tape and really spend some time reflecting on our team's performance yesterday, which was in no ways good enough, either as coaches or players. Our players understand that. We've got to go back to work this week, regardless of the circumstances of this week, the game, playing time, all those things. We just need to continue to approach the weeks, with the utmost urgency on our preparation, understanding we're preparing for a tough opponent this week on the road, another NFC North challenge, but ultimately, the big picture of our season and where we're at as a football team, we've responded to adversity throughout the year, off of, not our best performances, and followed those up sometimes on short weeks with the ability to respond and play good football. And that's really what I want to see out of our team. Correct some of the things that we can control. And just across the board, there's a lot of areas of improvement for our team. Thinking about the turnovers yesterday, thinking about not capitalizing on an early blocked punt, having the ball at the 1 yard line, the kickoff return to, immediately give up that 3-0 lead, and then ultimately just not enough sustained plays when we needed them the most to be competitive in a tough road environment like that. So a lot of work to be done. It all starts, with me. I take a lot of pride in what we've attempted to build here, and feel pretty strongly about our team and our resiliency, and that'll be tested this week and then on into whatever opportunities we have moving forward. Just a little injury update for you guys. Both Schlotman and O'Neill did sustain some pretty significant leg injuries. We're still going through the medical evaluation process of ultimately what those timelines look like. But we won't have either of those players this week, and their status moving forward is to be determined here with some more medical information as the day goes on. And you guys always know I'll update you guys on that when that becomes a little bit more clear for us. Just a couple other guys got some little bumps and bruises here, but everybody else will be day to day besides those two players that I mentioned, which is a huge loss for our team. Brian O'Neill, considering all he's done and the consistency, the pillar over there on the right side for us. And then, Austin stepping in for us when Garrett went down, giving us some really meaningful, good snaps to help our offense stay on schedule. We felt their loss yesterday, and we're going to have to do everything we can to have those players stepping into those roles ready to, play good football for us and contribute on the offensive side. I'll open it up to you guys.
Well, Andrew and then Ben.
Hey, Kevin, just following up on Brian. Have you talked to him at all? How's he doing?
They are actually just getting going on meetings right now. I will be able to go see him. He was seeing some doctors out of the building this morning, and then we were in some meetings earlier. But I will see him here momentarily as soon as I get off this call.
And then just how do you kind of move on without one of your team captains there if you have to? And then is Oli Udo the plan there to kind of keep that spot?
Yeah, I think Oli, as he stepped in yesterday and gave us some good snaps against a good front and some good rush there, and kind of flashed some real traits that Oli's always shown. And obviously there's going to be some things when he didn't get a lot of the repetition in practice that you can improve on, and we're hoping that he's able to do that, with a week of prep leading in. But yeah, that's kind of how we're looking about handling that in the short term.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have had some pretty big moments on special teams and then some pretty wild swings, giving up a lot of big plays in that facet of things as well. As you look at the group overall, I guess what has to happen to kind of cut out some of the plays that you give up, whether it's block punts or the kickoff return like yesterday?
Yeah, I think Ben, the extreme kind of plays the other way, like that kickoff return or the block punt a couple weeks ago. I think it all comes down to guys doing their jobs and the way we set things up. We've got some talented players on that side of the ball or in that phase of our team. But they still have to go out there and execute as all 11 and make sure that whether it's kickoff, everybody's staying in their lane and knowing their responsibility, where the intent of the the kick is supposed to go, whether it's a left kick, a middle kick, a right kick, and then ultimately how we have to adjust once that return starts and how to make sure we're soundly defending the play, because that kick return was not that by any stretch, and we're going to have to make sure we go back and correct any of the schematical or fundamental issues that took place on that play, because it was a big play in the game. Even though we only got 3 points on the sudden change, huge play by Metellus and P. Jones taking 2 there on the block punt. You'd have loved to get 7 points. We didn't get it done as an offense, but we still were up 3-0, kicking that ball off, which I thought was a pretty big swing right there. So we've got to fix some of the catastrophic plays that go the other way for points or contribute to the turnover battle, while still allowing those guys to be able to make plays with the playmakers we have in that phase.
Alec and then Kevin.
Yeah, hey Kevin. Just wonder, with some of the O-line issues, how tough has it been to evaluate the run game offensively, and then just how have you evaluated it going back a few weeks now?
Sorry, Alex, you cut out there for a sec. Just the first part of your question.
Just talking about the run game, and just with some of the O-line issues, how tough maybe it's been to really evaluate that element of your offense.
Yeah, I think there's been some moving parts in there, whether going back to the left tackle spot a few weeks back, and then getting him back, getting CD back in there, and then the interior with Garrett, and now with Brian and Schlote. It's just been something where it's just the consistency of you always take for granted those 5 guys taking snaps together, both in the run and pass game, and just the moving parts of snap counts, and especially at the center position. The things sometimes you take for granted to execute and operate at a high level, even pre-snap, the communication, targeting, all those things. There's just no margin of error when you're talking about the importance of trying to play a good football team on the road in the crowd environment we're in yesterday, and that some of the things that contributed to maybe the lack of consistency there were things that I think we can fix. But the moral of the story is we've got to find a way to get our running game going, regardless of who's in there, regardless of who's blocking on the edge. The scheme just needs to be sound, and you got to be able to have hats on hats, get movement, and try to give Dalvin and Alexander some space to get going early on in football games. And then we've got to convert on third downs when they are manageable, they are shorter. We've got to find ways to give ourselves a new set of downs. If you're going to commit to running the football, you're probably going to have some third and shorter opportunities that you got to find ways to convert and trigger all the things we want to do as an offense.
Yeah, Kevin, 2 housekeeping things here. What's your level of confidence that you'll have Garrett Bradbury for the playoffs, whether it's this week or not, but for the playoffs? And also, what are your plans for starters this week against the Bears in terms of playing time?
Yeah, with Garrett, I know he is progressing and feeling better and better. My hope is at some point we can get him back with, get him some real practice reps and really see how that thing responds. There's only so much from a rehab standpoint they can do before we've got to actually test what it feels like for him to play football. The hope is we'll have him back. Can't really put a timetable on that as far as this week or next, but there is hope there. And then we're still working through what that playing time looks like for everybody on our team. We tried to do some things yesterday with a rotation, on the defensive side, and then had kind of a plan of attack in some other areas that just didn't come together with how the game went. I think it's a challenge, going to Chicago. We want to be able to have a good week of preparation, and we just need to play good football regardless of who's in the game. Knowing that yesterday wasn't our standard, wasn't what we believe we are as a football team. So we all have to, regardless of what the plan ends up being for Sunday, we have to have a good week of prep. We have to dial in the details and really own some of the things we need to improve on, coach things up better as a staff. It starts with me, and then ultimately see if we can sustain some of that momentum and build upon hopefully a better performance this weekend.
Like, do you foresee that you would go like not playing Kirk Cousins or not playing Justin Jefferson, or if you do make some adjustments, it would be more subtle than that?
Yeah, I think it would probably be more subtle than that, Kevin, just knowing that the 2 seed is still available for us. I imagine we'll probably be playing at the same time as San Fran or anybody else vying for movement amongst the seeds. So it's set up in that way, and regardless, we still have a lot to play for just from a momentum standpoint of a football team that's kind of had some highs this year for sure, and then one of our low moments of the season yesterday, where you'd like to be able to rely on a lot of the things we've built here to come back together and make sure we rectify some of the issues that contributed to yesterday.
Everybody, we got 3 minutes left, so we'll close with Dave, Joe, and then Chris. Thank you.
Kevin, in those few games where Justin has been, really taken out of the game, it's been a while, but there have been a few when defenses really kind of sold out on that. Is it easy to look back at the film and see ways that you could have done it differently when you assess the game, or what's sort of your take on the way that played out?
Yeah, I think it's, there's always things looking back on it, once you see the full game plan come to fruition for the other side. It was a clear emphasis to, not only have multiple defenders on him, but help over the top, help from the other side of the field. However they could, they did a great job trying to limit his impact on the game. And then when we did have some opportunities for him, maybe some third downs, maybe some situations where we got some single high coverage, we just didn't get it done and didn't make the play for a variety of reasons. Just where the ball ended up going, execution of all 11, whether it's protection or the route or footing or whatever it was. There was just, probably about 7 or 8 opportunities that maybe if we find a way to make a couple of those or at least give it a chance for some of those to be made, maybe we're talking about it being a little bit different. But for sure, there's things looking at schematically yesterday that I could have done a heck of a lot better job of putting our offense in better situations across the board.
Yeah, Kevin, all football teams want to be playing their best football right now. With the injuries and a couple of performances in the last few weeks, are you confident that you can get this team back up to playing their best football?
Yeah, I think our team was confident going into this game, having, although we got off to a very slow start against Indianapolis, able to come back and win that game, and then, fight off a real good effort from the Giants. There's a good chance we'll see that team again. So yesterday, especially with our prep and the week of prep we had, getting outside and preparing our guys, not only for hopefully what the environment was to be, but also the really good football team we were going to play. We just got off to a very bad start in the game. Did not, had a chance to make some plays offensively that we did not. And then, just the momentum of the kickoff return and then playing from behind from there. You hope that you can fix some of the schematic issues, technique fundamentals, some of the things that may have contributed to the individual plays, snap in and snap out, not going the way that we wanted. But ultimately, we have to rely on the inventory of really a couple things: the good football that we have played, our ability to execute in all 3 phases to help us win 12 football games, but then the fact that we have dealt with some adversity throughout the year and been able to respond to that, knowing that we're looking very shortly here at really 1-game seasons from here on out, playing really good football teams starting this week. So like I said, regardless of how we handle this week, and it's all about our team, our coaching staff, understanding the importance of preparation and then taking that to play good football, because great preparation doesn't matter if we can't bring it to the game. So those are things we're looking at to ultimately try to rectify and make sure we can get back to playing consistent football and give ourselves a chance to win without so many self-inflicted errors and unfortunate plays.
Real quick, Chris, we'll close with you, okay? Thank you.
Yeah, Kevin, with Bradbury's status up in the air, what do you need to do this week to get Chris Reed more up to speed with Cousins? And then after that, who's your backup center? Is it Kyle Hinton, or do you consider bringing in another center at this point?
Yeah, first and foremost, we got to get Chris, as much repetition as we can. Just when you look at already having played your number 2 center, and wanting to get him up to speed, they're really, Chris was able to step in there and respond in that moment and do the best job that he could, considering the fact that he really hadn't had a lot of center reps, more so than some of the guard reps that he gets sprinkled in throughout the practice week and on the look team. So he's a veteran player, smart, tough. He knows our system. He knows, that with a week of preparation, that I think he'll be confident that he can go out and perform, at a winning level. And then we're going to take a look at that, just working through things with Kwesi, as far as, the numbers that we'll need to possibly add an interior player, a player on the outside, depending on how the final medical and the timeline shake out. But we'll keep you guys posted with all that. But it's definitely something we're talking about, Chris.
Is it Josh or is it Hinton, or who's now the backup center if Bradbury's not able to play?
Yeah, Josh Sokol's been taking a lot of those reps on the scout team. We'll take a look at whether it's Hinton, and all of it will be guys' comfort level with snaps and snap counts and being able to make the calls, and a lot goes through our center position. So it's sometimes a little bit more intricate than just moving different pieces around. And as we hopefully do get Garrett back, or find some. Hopefully find ourselves getting Blake back at some point. Those numbers. It seems like we're being ultimately stressed right now, because we are, but we've got some good depth there, and we'll look to probably add as well.